Hi everyone, and welcome back to Jim Vernon Solutions, the Learn HTML tutorial using W3 Schools. We're in the colors chapter and we've dealt with the color names, including creating a brief rainbow with them. In this one we're going to cover the background color, the text color, and the border color, which are all very similar. We'll start with background color, and you can see the examples there, and then we'll do a try it yourself. And let's just change the background color on Dodger Blue on Hello World from Dodger Blue to just blue. And let's change the background color on the paragraph from tomato to red, not Ted. And if we run these, you can see you can change these. One thing I'd like to point out is if we made this, let's just make the background indigo on the Hello World. I personally find that a little bit too dark, and I don't think it works well. It's just a reminder that you have all kinds of choices on your colors, but that doesn't mean they all work equally well. Some people certainly don't care for a red background. I don't care for, actually I'll show yellow in the next one, but obviously if you made it a black background, that would be the extreme, right? If we make it black, it's certainly there, and that paragraph is still displayed, but it's displayed in black text on a black background. Obviously, there's some choices that probably aren't all that effective for your design. If we come back and look at text color, we're going to see some similar examples. So here we'll do the try it yourself. We have some text in tomato, some text in Dodger Blue, some text in medium sea green. I think the example I'd like to show is that doesn't work well for me anyway would be yellow as the text color. I find this extremely hard to read. I'm not sure about you, but again, think about your audience and think about what colors also look good and not just variety for the sake of variety. And in the extreme absurd, we can make the color white, I believe, for Hello World and get the same impact as we did when we made the background color black in the previous one on background color. So again, you've got lots of choices. It doesn't mean they're all equally good. And then finally, let's wrap up with border color. Kind of an interesting one. If you do the try it yourself here, we can have borders around elements. And so again, we see a tomato border, a Dodger Blue border, a violet border. It's a little harder, I think, to come up with really bad examples of border colors, although again, this is pretty subjective. I don't know that I think yellow is particularly effective for any sort of color in the background, so we can see it. So it actually isn't nearly as distorting or difficult to read when you do a yellow border. I think a background would also work reasonably well as a highlight, at least in terms of contrast. I'm not sure I like it. What I also wanted to show here before we wrap up is let's take that heading and let's copy it. And instead of a heading, I just want to point out that headings aren't the only things that can have borders. We can do them on regular paragraphs, just plain old paragraphs. So if we change that heading to a paragraph, let's change it out of yellow to just plain blue and rerun it, we can see we can get a regular paragraph with a border as well. And that will conclude this segment, and we will pick it up next time with an introduction to those color values and codes. They're going to take a little bit more time in this particular chapter.